Well, hey, how y'all doing out there today? Listen, that title is a little misleading. I am going to give my point of view on this, but before I get started talking about what's going on with the BSA and how they made it all girl troop that boys can't join, and the hypocrisy in that, and the political motivation behind that, not what's good for girls or boys, but what's good for adults these days that think they know everything and are pushing for I don't know. It looks like a lot of envy to me now. It looks like a lot of fighting the monster you fight, becoming the monster that you fought. And it's kind of just made me shake my head and wonder what's going on with you ladies out there that this seems to be okay or whatever. I thought you were saying we need more real men, and you're just taking away our institutions and our private clubs that do help raise young men. But before getting into all this, let me just explain something real quick about myself. I didn't have a father. I was raised in a house with a mother, a grandmother, and 3 sisters. That was 5 women, and that was 2 older sisters. I had to go outside to get away from them, y'all, because guess what? As a little guy, you don't want to be around women all the time. Now, I speak often about how lucky I feel to have been raised by educated women that were unbiased, that were not racist, that were not sexist, that were leaders and didn't have to prove their leadership every day. This gave me a lot of understanding. This gave me a lot of, it gave me a great thought process in my mind to live and let live, to others prove who they are, to be themselves, to show that they're your friend or their enemy without judging them on their appearance or their gender or anything about them, especially their gender or their color, because I was raised predominantly around poor black folks too. And in saying that, I give a lot of credit to my grandmother and my mother for teaching me a lot of wisdom and teaching me a lot of things, but they did not raise a man. My mother could not raise a man. My grandmother could never raise a man. Only men can raise men. Even when my nephew turned 17 years old, oh God, what was it, my 40s, so about 15 years ago, my sister, one of the most strongest women I've ever met, didn't need a man for anything. Was a earth child and a naturalist and understood the life cycle and the ways of life. Even she brought me my nephew when he was 17 years old and said, Bill, I've done everything I can with him. I can't raise a man. Will you raise my son into a man? Will you finish what I've done? So even from the strong, educated, brilliant women in my life, none of them said that they could raise a man. Because women can't. And that's why they've destroyed the family unit, y'all. And that's why they're going after other institutions. Now, as I said, as that small fatherless boy in a house full of women, I hardly had anywhere I could go except for the woods to get away from them, because you got to get away from your family and everybody every once in a while. And there wasn't a lot of men back then. There wasn't Big Brother programs back in the 60s and 70s. A lot of men just saw me as some bastard child or some fatherless kid and poor kid, and they had nothing to do with me. So the men in the Cherokee tribe that I used to go visit all the time and live with here periodically, they raised me. The black pulp waters, the poor guys out there cutting them pine trees down every day, the same old thing. They raised me. A wonderful man, the world's strongest man, Paul Anderson, helped raise me. Men helped raise me. And I've helped raise other men through their example. That's how it's supposed to, matter of fact, it ain't how it's supposed to be. That's how it is. The destruction of the family unit is very important to the New World Order for some reason. It's very important to evil people. It's very important to people with agendas. Because with no strong family unit to base your upbringing on, a father and a mother giving you equal balance in the way you're being raised, you're going to fall for anything. You're not going to know who you are. You're not going to know your roles in life. You're not going to know what a good man is or a bad man is. You're just going to know what you're taught by that person. So that's why my heart just literally bleeds for the single parents out there having to do this on their own with no help. That's why I'm always calling out to even the single brothers out there to take a young man under your arm. For the people out there that don't have kids at all, men or women, take someone of your gender under your arms. Teach them to be a man. Teach them to be a woman. Teach them to be a lady. Teach them to be a gentleman. Instead of bitching about it, bitching about how these people you see on the TV are grabbing ass and being immoral. Yes, that's wrong. But all men ain't Kavanaugh. All men ain't this. All men ain't that. All men ain't Trump. All men ain't what's his name, old Roy down there in Alabama. No, the majority of men are good men, and we just mean well. And most of the men out there that are acting like men had strong male influences in their life. In fact, they had to have it to learn how to become a man. This thing with the Boy Scouts and what the Lutheran Church did up there in Ohio is just politicized bullshit, period. And listen, here's the lie. Here's the lie that you women fell for. I keep hearing, well, a girl should be able to be an Eagle Scout. No, Eagle Scout was part of the Boy Scouts. And you got to be a boy to be in the Boy Scouts. And if you want to know if that's a written rule or nothing, I ain't seen a written rule. It's just in the name, Boy Scouts. Okay? And you had the Girl Scouts. But no, instead of looking at the honor or the elite, whatever position of an Eagle Scout and wanting to be what a man was, they jump on the coattails of what men do and what men consider great. When all along, you women's rights people out there, and even women, period, even just the regular women that are caught in the middle, why didn't you go take the Girl Scouts and make an elite position for them to go through with the same criteria to get the Eagle Scouts and say, we did this for women and we put it in the Girl Scouts because we're going to raise strong women? You already had camping and whittling and all the other lies of excuses that these two women put out while they started this troop. The Girl Scouts is hardly no different than the Boy Scouts on activities, especially outdoor activities. And they've kind of softened all that up as well too. But besides that, why didn't you take the Girl Scouts and make it a stronger organization? Why didn't you take the Girl Scouts and make it a shining star, an elite program that raises strong young leaders of women? No, you go to the Boy Scouts with using the term equal rights. You make a Boy Scout troop of all girls, and then you say boys can't join it. And you expect me to say that's equal? You expect me to say that's right? Well, I'm sorry, it's wrong. For one, the Boy Scouts of America is someplace where the regular boys in the world that don't have fathers could go and pick up on some of them boy-like skills, like the camping, hey, like community, you know, dealing with the community. I don't like the militaristic part of the Boy Scouts. I know how its foundings is. I know that Rex Tillerson, a Republican and working under the Trump administration, just a while back made homosexual scoutmasters a part of Boy Scouts of America and Gay Scouts. At least they were men, though. It was still boys going to do boys things. We accepted the difference in our own gender reluctantly, but there it is. And I'm not so cool with that because of what happened after that. The thing is, all the minority groups out here, the gay community, the women's rights movement, y'all two in particular, you're going to keep taking away from men till there ain't any more men. Is that what you want? You point out the evil men all the time. You point out the sexually deviant, perverted men all the time. Why don't you point out a man like me or billions of other brothers out there that have raised good kids that ain't in jail, that have raised good kids that haven't bucked on the system or go along. You've raised good young men that take care of their ladies, have raised daughters even, or help raise daughters with the mother that don't go chase after men that are going to treat them bad, that demand respect. No, we expect laws and we expect other people to take up our cause. Well, this is my question to the women in this Boy Scout thing. Is a girl Boy Scout troop, all girl Boy Scout troop, further your cause? Has it made women stronger? No, it's shown that women have to go to a man's organization to get respect. You have to build your own organization to get your own respect. You have to do things on your own, ladies. I've been telling you this. You have the most important role in the history of mankind. You have the most important role in the history of mankind. You birth children. You birth the children. Without no children, there are no males. There are no Boy Scouts. There are no unequal jobs. There's nothing. Without women, there is no life. Why isn't that role revered? Why isn't that role thrown out there as the most important role? Being an Eagle Scout mother is no more important than being a good mother. Wow. If you think an Eagle Scout's going to help you get into college, well, have y'all not paid attention to the college stats, ladies? You're winning on all fronts. You're going into college more than men. You're graduating from college more than men. You're getting more to executive jobs than men and more to higher up jobs than men. You're getting better paid than men. You're getting your way. And now you're going to take an institution that used to be there for many fatherless boys that just needed a male influence, just regular kids that know who they are, not none of the mixed up shit that you're trying to push out there for other people. Because that's my main point. You're going to take away from men and men raising real men, and then bitch about the fact that there's not any more real men out there, when all along that's what places like the Boy Scouts were for. That's what the Big Brother programs and stuff like that were for. So men that cared, men that see things the way you see them, could use what we have in place to raise boys. But the equal part, if it would have been a Boy Scout troop that girls could be in, that's one thing. And I still wouldn't have liked that, but that co-ed would have been better, and you could have just called it the Scouts like they're doing already. The Scouts is just by the way, it's just one of these lines they're drawing in the sand. It's just like taking another piece on the chessboard. The war against men and women, the sex war, I guess, since we got so many goddamn fucking wars out here. We only war. We don't come together on nothing. No, we just further divide. But in this war, you forgot that there's two roles that have to be played to have well-rounded children for a future. And that's the mother and the father. And this is taken away from it. And when you're asking for equal rights, but you're going to take away my rights, then you're not wanting equal rights. You're becoming the monster that you're fighting. You are the monster that you're fighting. If you're going to take away from me so you can have something, that's no better or different than people that's taking away from you so they can have something. So think about that. And when you bitch about real men, how about giving men the opportunity to raise real men again and quit demonizing what you consider real men? Because you're not going to want what you're putting out here, ladies. You're not going to want the kind of man in the next 10 years that you're promoting, that you're saying that you want out here. You're not going to want that in a man. I promise you ain't. And you can say what you want, and you can call me sexist or misogynist or whatever. That's just you being crabby. That's just you trying to blow smoke onto the fact that when you take institutions that were out there and have successfully raised young men and leaders in our community, and then you mess it up, then all you do is cause enemies. Now you make people like me wonder what you're really doing. Or, the most important thing, are you ladies pushing for your rights, or are you pushing for the rights that people in Washington, D.C. are telling you to put for? Are you pushing your agenda, or are you pushing some other people's agenda? Has this gone too far, and you're just riding on the coattails of what other people have done? Or you're just trying to stay a part of a group because you're one thing in your life that ain't right, or the things in your life that ain't right, and you're going to have all these other things get changed and twisted? Who are you fighting for? Because if you're fighting for women, you'd be fighting for motherhood. You'd be fighting for life. You'd be fighting against vaccinations. You'd be fighting for healthy children. That's the most important role in the fucking universe. And you let these people take it away from you. You can't let nobody take nothing away from you. That's I just don't know how to put it. Y'all are losing me on this one. I'm not going to support the all-girl Boy Scouts group. I'm not supporting the Boy Scouts anymore. They're a defunct organization as far as I'm concerned. They're a private organization that uses public land, and the people that get in control of these public land push their agendas on the Boy Scouts so they can have their jamborees and all this stuff. And I think that's sick and sad. I think all this agenda pushing between the left and the right-wing political extremists, I think you all need to go to hell. I'm sick of your shit. America's sick of your shit. We're tired of political extremism in this country. We're tired of having shit crammed down our throats and being nice, and we are accepting of you. We are understanding of you, but then we become the enemy. Then you start taking from us. Well, fuck you on that. I ain't a part of that. That's being a part of a lie, because the lie is in the name. You can't have girls in a Boy Scout troop. The lie is in the name. You want to change every definition out there, then how about we just take Webster's dictionary, we throw it in the goddamn trash, and we just walk around like this to each other. Because that's what you're pushing by making all-girl Boy Scout troops that boys can't even join a Boy Scout troop. If you can't see the lie in that, then you are lost in the lie, and that's on you. I'm really upset about this. I'm going to keep my mouth shut about how I really feel about it, because it ain't good. You ain't going to want to hear it. But if you want real men, let men raise men. And in saying that, all you dads out there, all you fathers, all you uncles, all you brothers, and all you single men that don't have any children, they're taking our boys away from us. They're going to take our sons away from us and have all these, whatever you want to call them out there. But it ain't men like you were raised to be. It ain't men like you saw on your grandfather or your father. So take back the role of fatherhood dead serious. You best take the role of fatherhood dead serious before there are no more men out there. Think about that, fathers. Think about that, brothers. Take it back. And you ladies, I give you anything in the world. But when I get cussed for opening a door, or I go into a church and all the girls are dressed up like Boy Scouts, and you want me to accept your side, you're not gonna get it. I'm sorry. I give you the honor and the respect of being the most powerful human being in the universe, the creators of life. Other than that, you're not gonna be a man. You don't need to be an Eagle Scout. You're smarter than us in a lot of ways, so let's find the balance and work together, ladies. Let's work together on raising good, healthy children. How about that? Has anybody brought that damn solution up yet? Let's work together. Nah, well, it's always take something from somebody else. Well, I ain't falling for it no more, and I ain't supporting it. I love y'all, but I ain't living a lie. Peace. I love you, and don't live in fear.